tax write-off or something. I don't know.
I think there's.
I don't know how rich people live.
There's some tax things going on.
Yeah,
for sure.
I wouldn't know at all how rich people live.
Good day, Internet.
Hi, Internet.
Yeah,
Hi, Internet.
what's up?
Some of you are rich. Let us know
What's
what
happening?
it's
Yeah.
like. Hi, Internet.
Even if your
like?
name is Rich, let us know how you live.
Some of you are named Rich. Let us know what it's like.
Hey, we should get all the riches together and just start a week, like one of those Saturday
Call Rich
seminars.
Struffolino right now
Yeah.
and just be like, "What's it like?"
We were just talking about Atlanta, Larry, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We were.
We've had a hey back, Philly Code Hound. We were just, Atlanta is always in the news for something, but I don't know if you guys heard about Magic City Night. It's on
I
the
know about
16th.
Magic City on a Monday.
Yes. So Atlanta is playing the Orlando Magic on Monday, March 16th. So Atlanta is having Magic City Night. They got a new hoodie, super cute. I pre-ordered one because I needed it. But there was a player, I think from the Spurs, who wrote a blog post condemning the Hawks for having Magic City Night because it's so demeaning to women. And the thing that people, I don't think, especially outside of Atlanta, don't realize, Magic City, the strip club, is not just a strip club. It's like a cultural institution. They have the best wings in Atlanta, actually. And it's not far from the stadium. And it's been a lot of discourse on social media about, they should cancel it. It doesn't look good. And it's just like, people here is like, this is like the best thing ever. But
it's not an official thing, or it is an official
Oh,
thing?
it's an official,
Yeah,
it's an official thing.
It's an NBA event. Yeah.
So basically, what it's going to trip people are
It's
thinking
also
they're going to
very,
have.
very well known.
Absolutely,
And
it's not
you
just
would
a
almost
strip
go there
club,
as a
yeah.
tourist just to do it.
Yeah, and most of the teams that win go there, or people when they visit, especially other teams that are playing, they kind of make it a point to go again because they have really good wings. It's called Magic City Kitchen now because the food was so good. You could actually just go and get the food.
Which is weird because like you normally don't expect any food at one of those places.
Not true, Roger.
Wait, you have high.
The
you have
Gold Club in
expectations
San
of food?
Francisco. People used to go there for lunch all the time.
I
never
know, I've
did.
been there. The food,
But
let's
it
just
was
say
like-
I
it
asked
was-
the
it was
bouncer
a-
for
it was a
somewhere
whole
else to
thing.
eat.
Oh, you're not saying they don't have food. You're saying that it's not known for its food being good. I see.
It's not like they have beer, but it's not known for their fine selection of on tap brew.
Get the wings, get the
You know what I
catfish
mean?
nuggets. I mean, you're gonna eat
Catfish
good.
nuggets. They're not even fillets. They just shrunk them down to nuggets.
Have you never had a catfish nugget? You're missing. You're not from the
Roger,
South.
You're,
Don't disparage
gotta
what
lean
you
into
do not
this a little
know.
bit more.
You're missing out.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, you missed out on the catfish nuggets.
please illuminate. Please educate me.
Well, come on out to Atlanta. Nica will show
Come
you.
on down and we can go.
I mean,
But
I've
no,
had
All
you know
go to
I've
Magic
had
City on a Monday.
yeah. Let's all go. Let's all go. We'll write it off.
Rob, is your camera frozen, or are you just waiting for this
No, I'm
conversation?
just
Rob
being
is just
real
like,
serious.
I'm just not doing this.
He's like, I am not participating in the debauchery. But no, all of it to say is T.I.'s going to perform. They're going to be like giveaways. It's going to be wings. It's not what people, I guess, are assuming.
And the
that
Orlando
type of
Magic
event
are
would be.
playing too, right? Just for a
Right.
little
That's
extra
why they're
pump.
doing
Yeah,
it because
yeah,
they're playing
right.
the Orlando Magic
Yeah.
on that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Let me
that
tell you,
adds
when they
a-
dropped the image for the hoodie, I was on it, and people that I know, they were like, "Oh my God, did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it?" And then I went to buy it, and then it was like, you can only pre-order it, and then we're not going to release it until this certain day. You can only get it from the official Hawk store on the stadium. But of course, because it got so much hype, they went ahead and opened it up. And I know several people, they were like, "Did you get yours? Did you get yours? Did you get yours?" I'm like, "Yep, got it." So yeah, fun time.
That is fun.
It is.
I like a spectacle like that.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I
just
mean, and
something
this
where
is
you're like,
Atlanta,
we're
the
all
city
in
of
it together.
spectacles.
Yeah.
We are a city of spectacles. We like to do things.
I have. I mean, honestly, in this day and age, I just want a town that offers me affordable food in the morning.
Well, you're living in the wrong place, Roger.
I mean,
You live
even
in
up
the wrong city for that.
Even no, I mean, no, it's actually not. That's not great.
Well, wait, no, you're not in your normal.
No, but
location,
even up
so
here,
maybe you
it
are
sucks.
the right
You know,
place,
even
yeah.
up here, it sucks. It's like pricey. It's like ridiculously pricey. I was, this is the thing. Just for You used to be sort of on the higher end, but like looking back, it's affordable.
Roger is
compared
talking
to
about a breakfast place in San
so
Francisco
good.
that we used to go to a lot.
And we
which
went to it
was-
because it's right
was
across the
very,
street from
very
work.
beloved. And is it still there or not?
No, it closed. It closed last year.
Yeah.
Just for You?
Yeah, it closed.
Why
So
don't I
sad.
remember that? I remember the crockery.
Oh, no. Just
Oh,
for
no,
You
no.
was down by Revision 3.
Oh, okay. Okay. I did go there once.
Yeah.
Now that I was
And
thinking
It was
I will
great.
say this.
They had like
as-
all the pancakes that you could ever want.
But
It
this
was
is the
great.
thing. They cook fish, and any place that knows how to cook seafood well repeatedly generally is a good restaurant.
yeah, but they didn't have catfish nuggets.
No. I mean, I've only had fried catfish as a fillet in Little Rock, so I don't know how that compares.
Catfish in any form is honestly you can't go wrong.
It's pretty
But
good.
the
Delicious.
nuts
But
are
I guess I have to
delicious.
be careful because it's a bottom feeder, so I'm not sure if that counts against
So's
my
tilapia.
gout.
Yeah. So am I.
I can't eat tilapia too much because I'm one of the weird people that gets the acidity or something. You base joint pain. You get joint pain.
Like gout.
Because of what the fish
It's just the
are
fish.
eating.
It's
'Cause they're
either
bottom
probably what
feeders.
they're eating.
Yeah.
Most like if they're
Yeah.
most tilapia that's served is
Mud.
farmed. So
They eat mud.
I'm a cod
well, they eat other
person
fish.
myself.
Usually they're relatives.
Like a good
because
cod.
that's fish food.
Cod's
I
a good
love
one.
cod.
I do
Yeah.
like a good
Halibut, I love halibut.
Perch.
Even
Halibut's
even
good
though
one.
the eyes are on the same side of its head, both of them, it's a good fish.
Flounder.
I don't think you're looking at its eyes when you're getting
Yeah, I
ready
mean,
No,
you're
no,
kinda
no.
eating
So
it at that
when my
point.
dad
Not if you go to
when
the
my
cheap
dad had
places.
when my dad had the fisherman's galley running, we used to. This is back when they were still the big ones around. These things were like 200 pounds. Took two of us to
Yikes.
lift it up onto
You're
the
kidding.
table. Yeah, no, they were huge. They were massive. Sometimes they would leave the head on, but they usually didn't because no one wanted to pay for the head.
That's
But, like,
how do you
Some
know it's
people do,
really halibut
actually.
if you don't get the
You can
head?
tell by the shape.
How
and
can
the-
you
and
share
the
the eye with your
I knew
elder?
halibut was a fleshy fish, but I didn't know that they were.
It's
200
a
pounds.
white fish
Fleshy.
because it's a
That's a
bottom
nice word.
feeder. But no, like they were so big. So you meant
a minute
one of
warning.
those
2 minutes.
industrial garbage cans you get like in a restaurant that you like dump garbage into. Just imagine that with a tail sticking out of it, and that's how big the fish were. Like we put it like that's they were
wild.
that big. But it turns out there weren't that many of the large ones left because those are like the big ones, right? And they only get that size if you leave them alone for like decades. Apparently, we all fished them out, so they're much smaller now.
Overfished.
Well,
them.
this is uplifting.
Just remember that food you eat on your plate has a direct impact on the environment you can't see.
and
go.
and a direct impact on you because you're eating it.
Yes.
Also, that don't eat a bunch of cigarette butts for dinner, guys.
Don't do it.
I mean,
It's
like,
not gonna go well.
Listen, I'm not a nutritionist, but I feel comfortable saying.
is Fuddruckers
play
still a
one on
chain
TV.
or did they go out of business?
I think it went out of business.
I
Well,
think it went into business.
yeah, because they're no longer on in this part of the country. I used to love Fuddruckers. There was
But
one-
remember they used to
1
serve
minute, 2 miles from the house.
bison burgers, and I used to get that
Yeah.
all the time because it's
They had them in Emeryville. There are still a Fuddruckers locations, one in Concord, one in D.C., 5 in Florida, 2 in Georgia, 1 in Savannah, 1 in Commerce,
Okay, that's
1
still
in
there.
Reading, Massachusetts. Yeah, there's like not many left. There's like 1 in each state except for a handful of states. Bunch in Texas, though.
endangered.
1 in
endangered species.
Saskatchewan, Regina,
30 seconds.
and 1 in Yucatan.
I should go up to Regina one of these days.
Not as many as there used to be, though.
It is not no Winnipeg. I'm thinking of Manitoba, right? Manitoba.
Yeah, there's none in Ohio. They all went away because Len and
sad.
Rob didn't go to them often enough.
Oh,
Or-
it wasn't-
or
it wasn't
they
because of
ate
me.
all
I
the
frequented
fish.
Fuddruckers. It was a place that I went to probably twice a month because my kids loved it.
Rob's like, wasn't me.
everybody.
Good day, Internet. This is the DTNS Live Thursday Hangout from Studio 7 in Los Angeles. I'm Tom Merritt.
From Studio Animal House, I am Sarah Lane.
From wet and rainy Ohio, Columbus, I'm Robb Dunewood.
Same here. Drawing the top tech stories from very wet Cleveland, I'm Len Peralta.
I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
And welcome back, Nica Montford of the Snob OS podcast and big friend of the show. We got a lot of Apple stuff to talk about today, so thank you for being with us.
How you been, Nica?
Been pretty good. Can't complain. Had a birthday on Sunday, so coming
Oh,
up
happy
with that.
birthday.
Birthday.
You barely look 25.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Is that why I saw like the,
Be
the
careful.
photo shoot that
Be
it looked
careful
like
with
you
those
had?
compliments.
Yes. Rob, yes.
What if Nika's like, I just turned 24, but okay.
Haven't seen the 20s in a while.
It's possible.
Well, I think you're in good company here.
It is possible. My mom is only 28. I don't know. Don't ask about the physics and how that works. But
How
yes,
it works.
Yeah.
she's
No,
28.
It's this whole
Just how it goes.
time-space continuum thing we got
Right.
going on.
My mom's not even with us anymore, and she's 28. That's just that's the way it goes.
I'm 28.
We're all
I'm
28.
6.
Everybody's 28.
It's 6.
I wish my joints felt like they were 28.
Well, okay. Roger, come on.
Okay.
Stick with
Let
the
me
bit.
jump off. Let me jump off the roof of my house in a very reckless.
Roger's a student of the improv school called No and rather than Yes and.
Yeah, he's like, that doesn't make sense. Why would I be 28? Well, listen, whatever age you might be, if you are watching us live, you can name this episode. This is the fun thing we're starting to do. Head on over to dtns.showbot.tv to submit titles and vote on them. As we go through the show, we will check back in on the votes after the show with our patrons. So
Yeah.
it's a fun little thing that we're doing now.
You don't even have to pay for the Patreon to get the live stream. And you can go to patreon.com/DTNS, watch the whole thing. We hang out after the show. DTNS Live is made possible by the patrons who do pay. That includes Brad, Kevin Morgan, and Paul Thiessen.
Yeah, thanks, folks.
Guys. All right, let's look at what we think the top tech story of the week was this week. There's a lot of contenders, obviously. We're going to talk about a few of them later in the show. But Rob, what's on top of your docket? What do you think the big one was?
Well, I'm not going to pick Apple's new announcements because
Too
I think
obvious.
there's bigger news than that. But I will give the honorable mention to Apple because I think they have figured out when we don't have enough to have a big announcement, we'll just make little announcements every day of the week and just control the news cycle all week long. And they've been doing this now for a couple of years, and they're really good at it. But I think the big news of the week is the stuff that's going on between the Department of Defense and Anthropic.
Yeah, because it just keeps happening.
We keep getting stuff, and it's pretty huge because there's a lot going on. They are going back and forth over this should be in the contract, this shouldn't be in the contract, but then you have the CEO doesn't like the CTO. There's just a lot of stuff there that's going on, and I think it's probably big.
And it keeps breaking. Like right after we published DTNS this morning, I had to add, I never have to do this. I had to add an extra audio file to the feed to say, hey, the Pentagon just said that they told Anthropic that they've declared them a supply chain risk. We still don't know if they've actually filed the paperwork, but there we go. It like just keeps ping-ponging back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because for me it's that story, but kind of at the same level as the Paramount. Warner
Oh
Brothers.
yeah, a lot of people talking about that one.
There's just and I'm not
Because we've shifted from no, we don't want Netflix to it to everyone saying no, we don't want Paramount to do it.
This is the thing. This isn't a value judgment on my part. It's just like the amount of just stories that spin out. There's something about drama and people just needing to talk about it, even if they're not directly.
Oh, definitely, always is true.
Always, and that's why for me it would be a tie between the Anthropic DoD and the Paramount and Warner Brothers.
Nica, what do you think is the big one of the week?
I want to say Anthropic because, like you guys said, it's been something every single day. I know we talked about Anthropic on our show last week, and then that next day, everything kind of blew up. But I also have to say, I think for the block stuff, that has, in my feed, I've seen so many people say, I've been impacted. It was great while I worked there. I did so many things, but I've been impacted. And it was just so many different people just in my feed organically saying that they were impacted. And I know we may talk about this a little bit later. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I have some personal experience with this. And so it's one of those things where it kind of hits a little bit closer to home. But I'm going to kind of go for like a twofer with Anthropic and Block.
Yeah, for people in the tech world, I think that one has been bigger than the people outside of it, because that is the one story I've heard people I'm friends with talk to me about, right? Versus just seeing it being talked about on social media or somewhere like that. I don't know, Sarah, what do you think? I feel like we're all angling in on the same one, but
Well, I'm gonna go a little rogue here and say the MacBook Neo.
yeah,
Big deal.
The
Big deal.
$599.
Now, obviously, Apple announced new MacBook Airs, new MacBook Pros, but the MacBook Neo, kind of being in that educational situation, not necessarily if you're, you don't have to be in school to get one, but something that is $600 rather than $1,100. Which is what, that's the going rate for other MacBooks, even an entry level Air is going to, I think, really open up the market for a lot of folks who either said like Apple is just too expensive for me, or I just don't care. I just it's not for me. I think this really changes the market for a lot of folks.
Poor Mobile World Congress. I just want to, like, this should be their week by all rights. Or
so
properly known as MWC now.
So sly of Apple. So sly.
But Apple, Anthropic, Block, the whole ball of wax. All right, I feel like Anthropic is probably the consensus choice, kind of overseeing everything, with Apple right in there, a close second. But I don't know.
I got a question.
Yeah, sure.
Did Apple miss it with Neo instead of Nano? It's Nano was just sitting right there, and everybody would have known what that was. Too small.
Nano makes
And we had the
It makes it
iPad,
sound
and we
like
had
the
the
computer
iPad
isn't
Nano.
powerful.
Neo just sounds new, right?
Yeah.
And so whatever you attach it to, it's never going to sound like the base
I didn't
level
think of it,
anything.
but this MacBook goes by Mr. Anderson during the day.
I literally was about to. You know what? You beat me to it. I was going to make a Matrix pun, and
you either buy the blue one
Sorry.
or the red one. I mean, those are the color
Yeah,
options.
there's actually 4 pills now, and they're pastel. It's amazing.
And the fact they didn't have like a red one, I was like, that's a miss.
That'll come.
I'm sure
that'll be the next round, right?
It'll be a
Finally.
product red, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neo.
Somebody get a hold of Bono. He's on the case. All right. Well, you might be out there saying, I know what the top tech story of the week was. If you do, vote in our poll. It's going on right now at patreon.com/DTNS.
All right, as we just were talking about, Apple announced a bunch of new products this week. New iPhone 17e, a new iPad Air, those updates to the MacBook Pro processors, new studio displays, of course, the MacBook Neo. They are all up for pre-order now. It's probably not shipping March 11th anymore since everybody's been ordering them, but that was the original ship date. But I thought we'd talk about the fact that they didn't do a keynote-style presentation. They did that thing that Rob talked about, stuck to press releases. A couple on Monday, a couple on Tuesday, and then the Neo on Wednesday. Nica, let's start with you, host of Snob OS. How did that work for you versus the typical way they do it?
So they've done this press release thing before. I think the difference is they announced last week that they were having, quote unquote, the Apple experience, and it was going to be across 3 different cities around the world, and it was going to be like press only focused. And I think where we are now is that we're going to have the 2 flagship events, the software event, which is WWDC, and the hardware event, which is the Apple event, typically in September. And anything else that's released, you got to get this press release before. They would do like a video and all these things or something outside. But now it's like, look, you're going to get this press release. Then you're going to get an update to the Apple Store. And there you have it. I just think at this point, Apple is like, you already know what we're about. And here you go. Take advantage.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much
out.
that Wednesday part really worked, though, because there, as you were saying, Rob, they dominated the news cycle by having something every day and always being towards the top of tech meme, if not at the very top. But then Wednesday, when that press event happened, I was in Shanghai, London, and New York. I didn't hear anything come out of that. There was not a lot of like, and we went to the press announcement, and I wonder if Apple expected a second boost there, or if that's all coming on March 11th, and maybe they were under embargo for parts of it.
I don't want to say that Apple doesn't care because, I've said this for years. Apple is a marketing firm that just happens to sell a whole lot of hardware, a little bit of software. They've been that for years. So I think they do think about these things, but for the people who are going to be interested in the Neo, they weren't listening to the press announcement anyway. It's about this blogger talked about it. This vlogger talked about it. This podcaster talked about it. It was on the news. And that always comes after the initial announcement. So I think from an Apple standpoint, they still win. Why? We're on Thursday, and this is one of the first things that we're talking about on the show.
Yeah. Because they were like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And honestly, these were not blockbuster announcements, right? These were mostly spec upgrades, except for the Neo and arguably for the display, which was, a much improved display over what they've had before. But, MacBook Pro, I'm excited about new chips for that, but it's really just a chip upgrade.
It's not just a chip upgrade. I mean, with the pricing, they're giving you a whopping amount of storage where they used to be pretty tight-fisted.
The storage is pretty close to what they had last time around
for that price amount for what you get.
They raised the prices.
So they technically, to me, they didn't really raise the prices. What they did was they took away the typical default 256 gig option, and they just start with
they basically said,
512.
we're going to start with having given you that $200 option, and then we raise the price $200. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
That's a good way of looking at it, actually.
But honestly, it's one of the few times I've seen like, hey, that's actually affordable-ish in the new.
I was more surprised by the fact that they didn't raise the iPad or the iPhone, and they kept the RAM the same for the 16E and the iPad Air. iPad Air seems to be the only one that people are kind of trashing. Like, there's not much new there. Everybody seems to like all the other stuff.
I'm very curious to see how the M5 Pro and the Max perform in real world usage for everyone.
Who's trashing the iPad Air?
I saw a couple of stories today that were like, the iPad Air is the most disappointing announcement Apple had this week. It's nothing new. It's not. There's not much to trash. You're right. Like it's like
here's the thing. The iPad Air is already a good product. That's why it's like,
how dare they not make it even better?
Right. It's like there's not really much to complain about. You get a little bump up on certain stuff, but I don't really understand what somebody was expecting.
Here's what it is to me is that they're not giving you a reason not to buy it. If you're in the market to go get a new device, there's no reason not to get this one. Is it like a device? Oh, this is so groundbreaking, is doing all this extra stuff. That hasn't been the case in 10 years for these devices. Everything is very incremental. It's like, designers, developers, engineers, they figured out how to make phones, laptops, and tablets. And that's not changing much. So I think that it is just fine. And it's probably one of the reasons why they're not doing a big giant video and we're just going to give you these little hits every day of the week. We'll dominate the little news cycle. We don't need to make a ton of news. We'll make a little bit of it, and it'll just be an aggregate, and everybody's talking about us for the entire week.
Yeah,
and it makes the actual Apple events that we know, WWDC and the September event, to me, it makes them even more prominent because you kind of have, so it's so early in the year where it's not super close to WWDC, but your Apple is making sure that they stay in the news by dropping these products. And what these products say to me is that we're giving everyone an entry point into Apple. We've known for many years that, you know, our show is called Snob OS. We're kind of Apple snobs, but this, especially with the Neo, it gives people an entry point into Apple that they don't have to spend so much money, but they can still get an Apple product. And what they're doing to me is they're giving you a wide range of products. So you may not need a laptop, but hey, I could use an Air. That would work for me. Or I just need to browse. I don't do too much on my computer. I just need to be able to get on the internet, watch some YouTube videos, that type of thing. But I can buy a $600 Neo and not have to spend $1,100 on a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro. And I'm still getting a really good device for a really good price point. And Apple is saying, here, stay in the Apple ecosystem. We have a product available for everybody. Take your pick of the things. We got you covered, whatever it is you're looking to buy. We got something for you on performance, and we got something for you on price.
Yeah, I think Neo is really taking aim at new people more than its others, saying, hey, if you're tired of all that BS from Microsoft and Windows, am I right? Because there's a lot of negative sentiment around Windows. Or if you're like, Chromebook, I mean, it's kind of limited, right? Wouldn't you rather have a full operating system? Then you can point to a $600 Neo.
You know, like where you... You know, because Chromebooks are ubiquitous, at least for school-age kids, are ubiquitous. We got a free one.
And the Neo is $499 for education, so they're trying to get a wedge in.
I think they're coming for the Chromebook market.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And I think that there's a lot of folks who are in Apple's ecosystem because they have iPhones. But when it came to getting a laptop for their kid, I'm not spending $700-800 on a laptop for you when I go get a Chromebook. Exactly. The school's recommending, and you'll just be using your iPhone and a Chromebook. But this being, $500, that is not bad. That opens it up. And we have been saying that Apple has been price competitive with PCs for years now, but that was always at the upper side of the mid-range into the high end. Where they didn't play was at the lower end of the mid-range and down into the into the low end. They just simply didn't play there. And this, I wouldn't call it a low end device. I mean, you can still go get a Chromebook for $200. This is not that, but to be able to get a current year brand new MacBook for $600 for $500 if you're in this school discount, or $600 if you're just a regular person, that ain't bad. That ain't bad at all.
I would say this is a return to something they did when they first moved over, when Steve Jobs moved over Apple to the Intel chip, and they introduced the new MacBook at the time, which was a sub $1,000. It's what got me to buy a Mac for the first time in like 6 years, and it was at a price point that enticed enough people. If you remember the ads, they really focused on the value and the pricing with the two guys on it. And I think this is just return to form, because in the past 5 or 6 years, it's been pretty pricey for anyone who wasn't looking at what you were saying, Rob, at the mid to high end range, that bracket before, and that's where they were. And people were looking, well, I can't afford that. I need something cheaper. And they'd be looking either at a PC or a Chromebook, because that's where all the commodity devices that people could afford were found. And, this could be just a return to, okay, we don't want to ignore that segment anymore. Let's push into that.
I also think that going a little back to what Nica was saying earlier, if they had done a keynote style announcement, people would be disappointed. These are not the kinds of products that you build up and everybody tunes in and then you're like, oh, wait, that's it? It's just like a cheap colored laptop. That's your best thing. Rest of it's just spec upgrades. But making it not be that, making it be this kind of drumbeat of like $599, like the price was the same for the iPad Air and the iPhone and the Neo. Like it starts to because your expectations are lower for a press release, you're like, actually, these are pretty decent. These are pretty nice. You know, it's a good way of doing expectation setting. Except for the studio displays, which were like $3,200.
$3,200 for a monitor?
Yeah.
I mean, for the people who got it
But
like
they're
that,
so
I'm
good,
grateful.
Nica.
I'm happy for you. I know. For the people who got it like that, I am so happy for you. I'm glad you get that. Enjoy it. But
We love this for you.
have it like that.
I will say, as long as they're calibratable and they're calibrated out of the box for any kind of like pro application, especially if you do color grading on images or video. I mean, $3,200 is what you would sort of spend. We're getting any other, like an ISO or any other kind of like professional grade color matched monitor, because that stuff you can't screw up, right? If you're getting a finished product that's going to be seen by millions of people on a giant screen, you want to make sure your color grading is as precise as possible.
Yeah, I was challenged by a listener to find an equivalent display that is mini LED that is less than $3,000. I have not yet found that equivalent monitor, but yeah, if you need it, that's not a ridiculous price. It's just a ridiculous price for those of us who don't need it to be like, why would I get that? I don't really need it to be that good.
Well, eyesight's not good enough to need it. It'd be a complete waste of time.
Seriously.
It's like I'm gonna have to pull that thing 6 inches from my face to actually be able to see the clarity in it. So, you know.
All right, so we touched on this earlier too, but last week, Block, the company behind Square and Tidal and more, announced it was laying off 40% of its workforce, specifically because of what Jack Dorsey, the CEO, called intelligence tool capabilities. So a lot of times companies lay off people. They try to fudge like, well, it's a little bit efficiencies from AI tools, but maybe it's also this other thing. And they kind of go back and forth on, you know, whether it's worse to sound like it's AI or not. Jack Dorsey was like, no, I'm getting ahead of it. I'm going to lay out almost half the company right now. And I think most companies are late to do this. He's saying that companies are going to be able to get by with fewer employees because of these intelligence tools, and he's not going to wait around wasting money on humans. Nica, a visionary or a mistake?
A mistake. And I say that because a lot of these companies their infrastructure does not lead them to take a full advantage of these capabilities. Their workforce is not aware of how to use these capabilities. It's the very early stages for this. And to say that you're at the point now where you can get rid of almost half of your human capital for this, I don't buy it. And what I've been seeing as a person who's, actively using some of these products, who is actively out looking into how to use these things and how they're actually being used. AI is the easy big bad wolf to say we have to reduce capital because our AI capabilities have taken over. What's really happening is they're reducing the headcount, and the headcount that's left is picking up the slack. They don't have these tools automated and efficient enough to say, I can only run these tools and still get the work done. You still need that human intervention. We aren't at that phase where we can exclude this amount of human intervention. I think this is probably going to come back to bite him or bite the company, because getting rid of this many people in this like one foul swoop is, to me, I think is short-sighted. And I don't think most companies intelligence, what he calls them, intelligence tools capabilities, I don't think they have them as far as advanced as they would like people to believe.
Well, and Jack Dorsey is, I mean, he's known for being sort of a, Silicon Valley weirdo, let's be honest. So, he kind of says stuff. At the same time, he has been a very, successful businessman over the years. Maybe doing things his own way. But I'm with you, Nica, on this one. The whole sort of like because of AI, we're going to go ahead and reduce our headcount by, almost half. That is not that scenario isn't improbable, but I think that it's a very easy way out.
And we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah. When you basically, it's like we overhired.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're trying to make our
really
shareholders
doing this?
happy.
Yeah.
We're trying to make our bottom line look better. And what can we do? We'll still have 60%. We'll just spread out the extra work among the people that we have left. Yeah,
Block reported
that works.
revenue of almost $6.3 billion, but earnings tumbled to 19 cents a share. It's still making money, not losing money, but they took a $234 million hit on Bitcoin holdings. So Stripe is eating Block's lunch. Nobody talks about Square the way they used to 10 years ago. And I think that is at least something we need to think about, right? As maybe another motivation for this.
I think one of the things too, when you think about a Jack Dorsey, I don't know him personally, never met him. I've only heard stories about him. And he absolutely, to me, seems like the kind of person that says, you know what? You know what would be cool? Let's lay off 40% of the company. And, I think we can get away with it. He's not thinking about the human capital. He's thinking about
numbers.
You know what? We can move these parts. This spreadsheet has let me. I think our shareholders they're going to like this. And they did. They loved it. The stock price skyrocketed after they laid off 40% of the company. And like I said, I'm not trying to get in his mind. I'm trying to get into the mind of someone who may think like this. We just laid off 40% of the company, and we did it on one broad swing of the sword, so to speak. If it doesn't work, guess what? We know 4,000 or so people that we could go back and hire right fast. That could come back in here and do this. The other part of this as well is that they are probably going to turn many of the employees who left into consultants that actually are going to say, hey, I'll do this because you're paying me way more to have a little bit more risks. You know, I may not get the ridiculous severance the next time around because I'm a consultant at this point. In fact, you absolutely wouldn't get it because you're a consultant. But I think that in his mind, he's thinking that if we do it right now and we get rid of all these folks, we can recover from it more easily because the stock price is going to go up. And these folks, if we need to bring them back in 2 months, we can bring a lot of them back. Some will never come back, but some probably would. And I think that's the calculus that is going on in that guy's head.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
I can see that.
When you look at Block, you've got a company that needs to save money. They've taken some hits on some bad bets. And if you're Dorsey, you're like, these weren't bad bets. We just need more time. And I can save not only salary by doing what you're saying, Rob, with paying them as consultants, but also payroll tax. 40% payroll tax deduction. As a person who has to pay the payroll tax for some brilliant LLC that runs DTNS, I'm like, that would be very attractive to your bottom line. I totally get the temptation there. If you are just looking at the actual human element of this, even if Dorsey's right, that 40% of your people can be replaced by AI, which I'm with you, Nica. I think that's very optimistic to estimate that, at least currently. The smarter company takes those humans and puts them on other things that they couldn't have afforded to pay them for before and makes them build those new things, do things that you couldn't do. That's what a company that wants to beat Block would be able to do, is go hire all these people and say, I'll use all those AI efficiencies that Block has, but I'll also hire you to do some things that you wouldn't have been able to do before if we didn't have those efficiencies. And that's how you win at this game. I think this is incredibly short-sighted, or it is just a way to save money because the company desperately needs to save money right now.
And what you just said, Tom, that's the visionary part of it. That's where you get the visionary part of it. Whether you keep these people on and put them on something else, or whether these people go off to another company or build their own, that's where the vision comes in, not with axing all these people.
Yeah.
And the other element that they aren't considering on the human capital side of it is they wiped out whole teams of people. And that has to do something to the mentality and the morale of the 60% that are left. That doesn't bode well for the way people feel confident in going into their work. And that definitely, I think, has an impact on the way people work and the way they produce.
And
Yeah,
this is the
morale's
thing.
pretty bad.
If it impacts their services to their existing clients, I don't know if that's going to bode well for them long term.
Then they just do what Rob said. They go hire a bunch of consultants.
Yeah.
Maybe, but like I don't know if I was a shop owner and I'm
Or
relying
you
on their
staff
product.
back up.
I don't
you
know.
know, do it real quick.
I'm kind of with Nica. There's at some point where just sort of trampolining people in and out that doesn't really do well for like a company. Like if you went in and just said, okay, I'm going to transfer all of you into sort of a contract consulting position, and we'll just bring you in when we have the.
But that's not what he
project that
said, and that's not what Rob's
No.
saying either. I don't
Oh no. But this is what I don't know. I mean, like if I was one of the 60% of people remaining left that suddenly had to pick up this additional work, as well as knowing that my head could be on the chopping block in the next several months, I'm not going to be busting.
G. James B. said the firings will continue until morale improves.
I tell you what, I'm probably making this up. But if you were to go check Wikipedia right now and look up quiet quitting, it is a picture of the 6,000 folks who still work there.
I mean,
They are refreshing those resumes and starting to put feelers out because they could be on the block. I saw somebody on social media. He was impacted by the layoff. Turns out he wasn't supposed to be. It was a clerical error. They hired him
they had to
back
bring him
like
back.
the next
That always
day.
happens. There's always a couple of those people in every one of these things.
That kind of
It's
slips
like,
through. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But just the
I don't know. I'm just
emotional roller coaster you take on something like that.
As Justin
it's
Robert
bad.
Young says, I'm just a barking dog on the internet. So I don't know. Jack Dorsey is a very successful, highly wealthy business person. So I'm sure Jack is right and I'm wrong.
I mean, if Jack is right, is if he's doing things for Jack's own well-being, which he
Maybe.
is. I mean,
or maybe not. That's I'm looking at this and I'm like 40%, and you expect that your company will continue to be as profitable as it used to be. That doesn't track with what I know about how companies have worked in the
also,
past.
That's more than optimistic.
It allows people to change their minds, right? It's like,
Well, yeah, but just-
you tried to do it one way, and then you decided to do it a different
Yeah.
way.
And that-
So it's like, sure, you're right, but were you right the whole time?
It also gives you that flexibility, like Rob was talking about, to hire a bunch of people back. And yeah, if you keep doing that, Roger, you're right. The morale gets even worse. But you could do it once and say, like, you know what, we made a mistake. Welcome back. And it means you get to get rid of the people you really don't need or weren't very good at their job without having to go through the process of proving they weren't very good at their job. And that's another element of this that probably helps make him want to do it too.
Yeah, I don't
lots
want
of
to be
moving
callous
parts
because
to this.
I think about the people's actual jobs, and folks are thousands of people are absolutely affected by this. But if you're looking at the spreadsheet, they've already thought about worst case scenario, 2 months out, 12 weeks out. Let's just go hire a bunch of folks back, bring them back in. They already, they won't have forgotten how to do the things. And you're right, Tom. They'll hire back the ones that they absolutely want to be there, as compared to, because you can do a 15%, 20% reduction because you're going to get your low performers. But when you get into the 40%, some of those folks are rock stars, and they just got caught up.
Oh no, you're cutting into the meat at that point.
Definitely,
That isn't the gristle.
And the other part of that is the tech hiring market is so bad. If they
people will
factor
take
that
anything.
into say, well, let's give it 3 months, let's give it a quarter to see how it works. They know that those people are likely going to still be available after a few months, after a quarter. And if this doesn't work, it's like, yeah, let's go back and get them and bring them back.
Because you can't yet replace them with robots like you can replace your vacuum cleaner. Right, Sarah?
Indeed, Tom. If you are curious about a RoboVac that can also mop, and we were over on Live With It, Roger and I chatted up about living with that exact thing. Watch the episode of me living with the RoboRock S8 Max Ultra and see if it might be right for your household as well. There's some good, there's some bad, there's some ugly, but it's a lot of fun. check it out over at youtube.com/Daily Tech News Show.
Okay. We've been covering the ongoing saga of Anthropic and the U.S. government on DTNS since it broke into the public last week. Justin Robert Young and I did a long conversation about it on the Friday live hangout. Jason and I had a great talk about it on Tuesday's DTNS, but I thought today we'd talk here less about what companies and governments are actually doing and more about what we want the relationship between AI providers, any AI providers, and the government and the military to be. So how do you want the government to use LLMs, or do you want them to use it at all? Rob, you'll go third. Sarah, let's start with you.
I do understand that in a military capacity, this is very important. I also understand why companies have different ideas about what they want the LLMs to be for. Who are we helping? Who are we harming? And for that reason, I'll go ahead and do a little devil's advocate here and say maybe the military doesn't need this.
Is that the devil's advocate or the angel's advocate? It kind of depends on what side of the issue
I don't know.
you are, right?
I guess it depends on where everybody else sits on this.
Yeah. Roger, I know you follow military stuff really closely. What's your take on this? What would you like the relationship between the government and these kinds of tools to be?
So, I mean, initially, they're all being used to do pattern recognition. That means you feed them a lot of information about troop movements or positioning of assets, and then they can sort of spit out all the things that it would take analysts a couple of weeks to go through. You could also do image recognition when they do satellite or flyovers for reconnaissance. They can just say, okay, this thing changed. This is what they used to do when they did the START treaties. They would have literally rooms of analysts go through film footage to see which of these missiles got moved, which ones got redeployed, because you can figure out what your opponent or potential adversary is doing. So if it does it in that fashion, I'm okay with it. I think the trickier part is when you do anything that requires you to target something and then say, press this, like it doesn't even have to press the button.
The autonomous system, right? That's what Anthropic is saying, right?
Yeah, but even to the point.
What the military is saying, what the Department of Defense is saying is we just want to do whatever's legal. It's not necessarily legal to do autonomous systems yet. So what we want is to be able to test them or experiment with them or do trials with them. And I think Anthropic is more resistant to the mass surveillance than the autonomous stuff, but that's part of it.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, there's a lot of people in the military have always complained that there's been a lot of middle management in the Pentagon. There's just a lot of people in that. If you could kind of take up some of that work without necessarily removing any sort of combat effectiveness, that means people that actually carry or deploy weapons, that would be a good thing, because then you get to cut overhead. But that's a larger discussion about the way the current Pentagon is structured.
All right, Rob, you asked to go third. It's your turn.
So if I'm just being as realistic as I possibly can be, we would be foolish to think that the Department of Defense and the federal government at large is not going to use LLMs. They're going to. We use them in our everyday lives because they are useful, except for when they're not. But they are pretty useful, except for when they're not. Where my concern comes in is where Perplexity's, concern came in, is where a lot of people's concern is. I don't want them to use, Anthropic. I don't want them to use this for targeting systems. I don't want them to use this for surveillance. I still have a real problem with the training data that goes into these systems. Just last week, we saw an instance of Gemini putting out some racist stuff. It was like they apologized for it. It was a mistake, but that stuff still happens. So I'm concerned that if you train your LLM and you're using it for surveillance, but you only trained it on, certain parts of the population of Earth because that's where the data was the least expensive. If you're using this for surveillance, how often is it going to get it wrong? In my world, just facial recognition gets it wrong a lot. So that would be my concern. And then if you're putting this onto, $2 billion weapons platforms that can literally take out cities, towns, states, countries, that is a bit concerning to me. Even if they're not doing it right now, the fact that you're playing with that, if the people who are making are saying, we're not ready for that yet, I tend to agree with Anthropic that Claude probably isn't ready for this yet, because it's something that they wanted to get into, and they're like, no, we're just not there yet. I tend to trust that more than I trust the vendor that is buying the product. In this case, the Department of Defense. So I know that we're going to have LLMs in the Department of Defense. That it's just unrealistic to think that we won't. I just hope that they hold back on targeting people and on surveilling people with the technology, because it is still extremely flawed when you get into diverse communities where
who should make the decision on those lines. Because what the DoD is saying is, hey, we have laws that restrict you from doing things. We will follow the law. And what you're asking, Anthropic, is for you to be above the law, for you to decide what should be legal and not. And that's not the way it should work. That you should just sell your product, and as long as we're using it lawfully, like anybody else who buys a product, we shouldn't have to bow down to you because you think it shouldn't be legal.
For me, when it comes to that word legal, that's where I think we get ourselves in a tricky space, because they're saying using it legally. Jim Crow was legal, but it wasn't good, but it was still legal.
Sure.
So when you come to the legality of things, and we have laws, we have regulations, who creates these? Who creates these things? Who creates what's legal and what's not?
But then who gets to decide what's good?
Right. And so, and that's to me, that's where the huge sticking point is. I don't expect the government not to use this technology. Like Rob said, we use it in our everyday lives, and it makes things easier and it makes it better. The issue is, and I've said this when it comes to the government and AI from the very beginning, one of the people who are making these decisions, they don't have the skill set and the knowledge base to make decisions that are actually beneficial and helpful. Two, there's a lot of money that goes into these spaces, and a lot of times profits come over everything. As long as you're making money, as long as you're, bringing in the big bucks and getting what you want, some of the other things can be a little bit negligible, and it can be a little bit okay. Similar to what you said, Rob. You can, and I've said this before on this show, I've said on our show, you can have the best algorithms in the world created by the most brilliant minds there are. But if your data, if your training data, if the data set that you're using to run these models and these algorithms, if they aren't pristine, if they don't have a level of ethical behavior behind it, if it doesn't have a diverse set, if it doesn't cover a multitude of things, it's not going to do you any good to have the world's best algorithms if your data is bad. And so when it comes to making the decisions of what's legal, what's not, how can we use it, how can we not, and particularly with the US government, we've already seen that there are times when they will say, let's just kind of put the legality of this thing on pause to get done what we need to get done. Well, and until you can get a rein on that, that's hard.
That's a different question, though. Like, if the government doesn't follow the law, then you've got another conversation. But should the contract say, even though this is legal, you're not allowed to use our product for that? Is really what the question.
Yeah, I think back to this documentary from back in the day called Terminator 3. And there's a part of this movie to where it is legal to turn Skynet on, but there are people who are saying, do you really understand what will happen if we do this?
Well, but that's the question, is who should decide what is the right thing to do? Should it be the government or a $1 billion private company? right? And,
Well, I
and
mean, this
one
is
of
the
them
thing.
is
It
accountable
depends
to
on who's running that billion-dollar private company.
Yeah, well, and,
You know,
and
like-
you don't
who's
have
running
a
the
choice
government.
over who's running it. So it could be one person today that you think you like, and it could be a different person the next time.
That's right.
And that's the sticking point of all of this is who gets to make that decision? Who do we in general feel enough comfort or faith in to make these decisions? Because, you know, the conversation that you've had before, the things that we've seen, it's like it's kind of almost like a toss up of who the individual person is that's making that decision. And that's the hard part of it. It's like,
I mean,
who do you trust to make that decision?
well, and ultimately, the problem is the legislation needs to be drawn up, and as we all know, legislation moves at the speed of politics, and so it's going
And
to.
so we should let private companies be a stand-in for legislation?
No,
though?
but
Yeah.
I think this is the problem is we want all the solutions available to us right now. When the method of normally getting to it takes too long, and so we want sort of a Superman effect where we want someone to kind of come in at the moment to give us like the guardrails that we want instead of literally just pressing our representatives pressing.
And that's how you get populism.
Well, and here's the thing you can look at. You can say, well, what does the contract allow for? The reason that we're having this conversation is because the government wanted to do something that Anthropic said, we don't feel comfortable doing this.
Yeah.
So we can't sign off on this. Now, the other stuff that has happened, oh, well, since you're not signing off on this, we might have to put you on a list to where no one can do business with you any longer. That's something different.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, the two entities are negotiating, and the people who build the software are saying, we don't feel comfortable with this. It could, if you just break it down to why would they say that? Because if it goes wrong, we will get sued by you out of existence. And we don't want that.
Even if you knew that this could happen, it's going to come back on me meaning the private company. Any blowback, any negativity, because I mean, we talked about, I think, Cowork when we were on the show, and it was like, yeah, you can use this thing. You have to give it access to, and Claude's Cowork. You can give it access to all your files, and you can give it a command and tell it to move this. But sometimes it might just delete stuff, and then it's gone. So that's kind of your bad, not our bad.
With the autonomous stuff, particularly, Anthropic and the Department of Defense were not far apart. Anthropic was like, yeah, we want to work on autonomous systems for you. But we want to go a little slower than you want to go. You want to be able to go a little faster. Let's come to a middle agreement. Except the personalities were not the kind that could say, let's come to a middle agreement there. So I don't think the two sides are as far apart as some of the rhetoric out there makes it seem they are.
I think it's because they disagreed.
Yeah,
now it's like, oh, we're so far apart. No,
and that was
we were
one of the things
actually
Justin
pretty
and I
close.
talked about Friday is like this kind of thing happens a lot, but
All
doesn't
the
blow
time.
up into the public.
all the time. It happens all the
it's-
time.
What's
You just
unusual
don't
is
see it
that
playing out in
we're
the
all
news.
getting to see it happen, right? Yeah.
I mean,
Real
it happens
time.
in the military when they decide on which targets to bomb. They literally have officers argue with each other as they mark off, like, well, no, that you can't do
Well,
that.
Roger, I need you to shift out of your military thinking into your game host thinking because it's time for our weekly tech game.
Yes, Roger's got a Zillow game for us this time. Roger, for anybody who hasn't been part of the fun before, how does this work?
So the Zillow game follows the rules of borrowed from Price is Right. Essentially, the winner is the one who can get the price, the correct price for these fabulous properties I'm about to show you, without going over. So the one who gets the price the closest wins, and anyone who goes over doesn't win. Now, all these properties were culled from the site Wild on Zillow, as well as the Zillow Wild on Zillow subreddit. So also, not all the listings are from Zillow. Some of them are from other online.
So we're calling it
listings.
Zillow, but it may just be property.
It's 85% Zillow.
It's the Zillow game. Not all properties may be from Zillow.
Yeah.
And
All
do we
right.
just tell you the number?
Yeah, each person will give me a price, and then we'll reveal
Okay.
it at the end.
Yeah, we
I'll
just
give you a
kinda shout
description,
'em out.
and Joe will show you the property on the screen.
But again, try to guess the price without going over.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I
that's the
think we
game.
need to put our price as our name.
Oh, that's
Or-
a good idea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How do I
On
do that?
StreamYard?
That way, Roger isn't
Yes.
sitting there going, "Wait, who said what again?"
Yeah,
Oh.
just change your at.
I
Change
can
your
do,
at.
I can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we can. Do that.
Gosh.
I mean, where we do that at, I forgot.
All right.
Well,
First
I'm just going
property.
to change my headline, not my display
Yeah,
name.
just
so you do
just
that
Don't,
by,
don't just the headline. The second part. All right.
Yeah.
The first one is in Arlington, Texas. It is a 5-bedroom, 5-bath, 4,623 square foot home. It's a one of a kind North Arlington custom estate.
Oh,
So
wow.
the secluded 5-bedroom sanctuary set in a heavily wooded lot. Featuring resort-style grounds with a koi pond, a yoga tea house,
This
a
is a
whimsical
very
always have a
tree
koi
house,
pond.
kind of house.
Are we sure we didn't
Compliment-
see this before? It looks
complemented
No.
by an interior
No,
boasting
we
a
have not
four
seen
this
that
house,
before.
Right.
Look at that bed.
four
seen this before.
newly renovated baths and a dedicated Roman spa retreat.
Wow.
I like
There's
this.
there's a lot going on here. I don't hate it. I don't.
4,000
but at the
Honestly,
same
when I
time,
saw
I'm
this-
like, wow.
I immediately thought of what was the Tiger King, that Netflix show for some
Yeah,
reason.
North
Tiger King.
Arlington too. I think it's kind of a ritzy-ish area.
Oh, very ritzy. Look, all that garden hoses hung up right there. Super ritzy. What the
That's wealth.
What the heck?
That person could afford that many garden hoses.
I don't know how to change my thing.
Yeah,
You click the
you hit
three
the little,
dot
three little
down
dots.
below.
You see,
Yeah, down below.
I've gone with
StreamYard.
2.5 mil.
No, I don't
So Len
see
is
it.
2.5.
I only see the settings.
All right. And then we'll go with
on your own thing. You don't see
4.6.
that.
Nica says 4.6.
No.
All right. So Nica says 4.6. I have the eyes of a badger, so I can't see anything.
4.6. I think that's high. I'm gonna go with 2.5.
That's what I said.
5, Sarah.
Len said the same. So
You both can have the same price.
we're
It's
neck and
like
neck.
okay. 742,000. Not even in the millions, Rob.
It's Arlington, Texas.
Is it
I'm
because
changing
you
my
watched?
name because it's a bigger font, so Roger
Okay.
can read it.
Yeah, I get you.
Tom is
2.7.
Let's put it on the top.
2.7. All right. The price is actually $675,000. So
You know, I went over.
I should have said $1.
Gosh.
I should have said $1.
I should have looked at the garden hoses closer.
Wow, that's shocking.
And
It's
I was
shocking.
going
I know,
on
and then the price
and
is
the
a-
square
It
footage.
Pretty
is,
good.
Five bed,
it is a
5
strange
bath, too.
home.
It needs some work.
It looks like he had a lot. He got all the extra material from when they built the house and then tried to use it, the rest of it, into whatever they had.
It looks like a stage in Marvel Rivals, the game.
Yeah.
It looks
It
like
looks
someone
like it
loves
should be
4
in
poster
Jumanji.
beds.
Jumanji. It does. It
I didn't
does.
think
That
there was any
kitchen
way
needs.
possible
I don't
to make it
know.
work in our
Some
house.
about that bedroom, or the multiple bedrooms. I don't know.
Oh, look at yeah.
I was
But
thinking
there,
the
but there
square
is
footage
something
would
I
really
like about
up
it.
the
It's
price.
quirky.
You know why? Because it reminds you of the Rainforest Cafe. That's
Maybe
what.
so.
A little bit.
Fake tree.
Maybe so.
All right, home number 2. Now this one is not in the United States, and it's in our neighbor to the north in Toronto, Ontario. This is a 5-bedroom, 7-bath home. It's reimagined by an internationally acclaimed Reflect architecture. This is a serene ravine estate on one of Toronto's most exclusive streets in a sculptural masterpiece featuring exquisite Obumex kitchen, a private tennis court, and primary wing with treetop views, all crafted for a lifestyle of quiet, gated permanence.
Wow,
I will
look
say
at that
it's
closet.
nice.
This is North
This is
Toronto
nice.
or North Drive, so this is sort of the north end of Toronto.
It's marble
It's
floor.
an expensive area, anyways. Like regardless of what the home looks like. So keep
What was
that
the
in
square
mind.
footage on this?
This one I don't remember. Let me see.
It has a nice
got
landscape.
a
It has a
tennis court.
tennis court.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's
That is nice.
7 bathrooms, which I always say, if you have more bathrooms than bedrooms, something's amiss. But this is a nice house.
This
And
one
see, that's
sits on a
opposite.
1.
I think you should have more bathrooms than you have bedrooms.
1.95
Do you?
acre lot. It's almost a 2 acre
I need
lot.
someone to explain that to me. It's like, why
I've
do we
tried.
need so many bathrooms?
It's for when people are at your house but not
Yeah.
in the bedroom.
You,
There's so
yeah.
many toilets.
No, but that's good.
A lot of
though.
toilets.
And
You
the
just
thing
don't
is,
You ever been in a house that's only have one
I don't
bathroom?
want more toilets. I want
When a house
fewer
is that
toilets.
big, you don't want to be sending people into the bedrooms all the time.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, no, you don't want strangers
No,
in
no,
your
no, no,
bedroom.
no, 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 no. But like when it's like 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, it's like okay, everybody gets a bathroom.
Every
when it's
bedroom
5
has a bathroom.
bathrooms,
Yeah,
10
plus you have
or
2
5
guest
bedrooms,
bathrooms.
10
Yeah.
bathrooms.
Then you
I'm
have-
like,
then you have
why
5
are there
guest
so many
bathrooms.
bathrooms?
Because you have got one in the kitchen, you've got one in the living room, you have one in the pool, you have
One
one
in
in
the
the
basement.
Everybody
office,
is
and you have
pooping too
one.
much.
You have
That's what's
one in the
happening.
like play area, so that you never have to go very far to find a bathroom.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if you've ever been to a house,
Maybe
that's only
they're
had one
older
bathroom.
people.
I'm not
and they
saying
need to have
I
something
think it's
close.
right, but I think that's
So
why.
Nika
I
says,
like you, Tom.
I understand the thinking. I'm just like
Ooh.
too many toilets.
so
I don't
Tom
want
is
that many
4.5.
toilets in my home.
Rob is 7.9.
7.9. Nika's 3.3. Sarah,
I don't
you
know
don't
how
have
to
one
do
yet. And
it.
and the,
Len, where do you do it?
Just click on the 3
Len has
dots where
3.4.
your picture is.
There's
Yeah.
no
just tell
3
it to me. Sell it to me,
dots.
Sarah. Tell me
There's
what
a
are you
little-
what are you what are you
Down
bidding,
at the
Sarah?
bottom where your picture is.
Yeah, those 3 little dots,
the vertical dots.
the vertical dots.
All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. So I'm gonna go with
To
it's Toronto. So
Tirana.
2.8.
2.8.
Okay.
All right. The actual
Like-
price is 12,995,000 Canadian dollars.
Wow.
Canadian.
So it's 9.516. So 9.5 million US.
9.5 million. Wow. Rob wins.
Okay.
Did you guys not
Why-
see the marble floors?
Yeah.
You mentioned
North
Look at
Toronto.
mention
It's one of the most
that.
important places in the
All
world to
right.
live.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Toronto.
Ooh.
I undervalue.
Cathedral
They got church
windows.
doors.
Yeah. Cathedral.
Look at
It's
those.
it's a beautiful house.
Yeah, it's really
is.
nice.
12
This
million.
feels like
What?
it's been
Okay.
in a TV show
Yeah.
somewhere.
Succession.
Like Succession or something.
Yeah.
I mean, so many
we're
shows are
thinking
shot in
alike, Sarah.
Toronto. What is that thing there? That sculpture at the end of the hallway.
That's from
like
Beetlejuice.
Sculpture.
3 tendrils. It's just 3 tendrils.
That's a sandworm
All right.
from Beetlejuice.
All right. Third home. This
I
one
love that
is
closet.
in New Jersey.
Oh my goodness.
This one is Mountain Avenue, North Caldwell Borough in New Jersey. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 2,812 square feet. If you ever wanted to live in a Minecraft-esque building,
Or an office.
situated 19 miles from New York City, this award-winning modernist masterpiece by UKZ architects is, quote, a livable work of art that blends clean, intersecting lines with high-end renovations and serene privacy to create a seamless connection between its sophisticated interior and its lush North Caldwell surroundings.
So wait, this is southwest of New York, but northeast
Yes.
of Philly.
Yes.
Basically, you're in the suburbs of
You're
New York
between.
City.
You're like by Trenton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Hoboken. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be pretty expensive.
And just remember, New Jersey, the property taxes like go on a sliding scale. So
Well, I don't know anything about that, but let's call this 10 mil.
it's all right. Sarah says 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going low.
I'm really
low
low
balling.
balling.
Not
here.
as low as Len though. Wow.
Yeah, 1.8. I'm thinking New
1.8.
Jersey though. That's the thing.
I'm
Oh.
Nika and I are in the same.
I'm where Lynn is, so I'm gonna go 1.8.
I should change mine to whatever Rob has.
So
Whatever
Rob
you put
has
in.
so
he
10
hasn't
million
changed it.
from
It's
10
not a
million.
huge house. It's
it's
just
small.
the location. Yeah. 2,800 square feet is not big.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do.
It is very big to someone like me.
So
And it's
Nika,
out,
you have
out in the
3.1.
suburbs. It's not in the
1
city.
million. Wait,
No,
$1.
$1.
$1
$1
from Rob.
Because you think all of
Rob.
us are over. You think even Len is over.
I think no. I think Lynn is right. I think Lynn is probably close. So I just want to. I think I'm.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
go over
Okay.
Lynn, so I'll just go.
You don't
See,
under.
my
think
thing
Atlanta-
is the
you don't think it's
proximity
more
to
than-
both New York and Philly. That's where I
It's
think.
a
Yeah,
proximity
yeah.
to
The
New
price.
York, like down
Yeah.
there. So the
19
price is 1.9
Whoa.
Pretty
Len
close.
nailed it.
Liz.
Got it.
Dang it.
Wow.
I almost went the 1.8
This is
million
like
$1.
this
I
is
just
how
thought
I
it
know
was
I've
almost went
lived
the
in
other way.
California
Yeah, you
too
would've had it.
long. Where I'm like 20 million. And people
No,
are
that
like,
makes sense.
No.
It's not a huge house.
Yeah, it's
4
actually
bedrooms,
I don't know what I was
bath.
thinking.
small for 4-bedroom house.
I went the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.9 sounds right now that
All
I'm
right,
looking.
I'll squeeze in
I
one
think
more
I got-
house.
I got swayed
It's
by the
quite lovely.
blockish look, the
All
modern.
right, this one is in a cheaper location. It's in Veneta, Oklahoma. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 3,720 square foot home, designed by renowned architect Bruce Goff's legendary roundhouse. It's a flamboyant 1960s masterpiece off Route 66, featuring an innovative
Ooh,
circular
so
floor
fun.
plan centered around a sunken conversation pit and dramatic skylit fireplace, all encased in fossil-embedded stone exterior with distinctive triangular geometry.
I love a conversation pit.
This looks like a cult home, but that's me.
Yeah,
Truly,
looks
I
like
mean,
someone
this
was
is
on drugs
this is
when they
like
made
this
this.
is my ideal home.
It
I
hurts
love
my
it.
eyes, but
Yeah. I
whoa,
love it.
that's
This is
that's a
something-
Kubrick. That's Kubrick.
Yes, I
Stanley
was going to
Kubrick.
say that's something straight out of Clockwork Orange.
Right.
It's
Oh,
something.
It's
yeah,
very
it does. Wow.
Kubrick-esque.
all work and no play.
I
How many
love
square
it.
feet did you say?
It is
3,700?
3,724.
3,700.
4-bedroom, 2-bath in
Yeah, see.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I went with 1.5.
Oh, I'm going lower. I'm gonna go 750.
750,000. Mm-hmm. Okay. Len, you went 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Rob goes 555.
Okay, about half a mil. Okay.
I went $9.99. Not $9.99.
Oh,
$999.
Nica goes 350. Really?
And then Tom goes
Very
999.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
remember-
nice big house and it's got some quote unquote charm.
It
in the
looks
middle.
very 1966.
It has
too.
Full.
2 bathrooms.
475.
That's a good point.
Nica's
didn't
like,
pay
I need
enough
the
attention
bathroom.
to that. You're right.
So
if you're,
Nica went
if you're a
2.
Bruce Goff fan, you know, you're gonna take top dollar.
475.
475.
You get it.
You know what?
475.
I didn't take into account the architect.
Good
Yeah,
job,
I
Nica.
didn't take.
That's what I
Look
was
at that
thinking.
home.
Bruce, if you love Bruce Goff,
475.
It actually
kind of
looks like a public restroom from the outside.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
looks like a restaurant
No.
on the inside.
So here's my thought. It's like
Oh, I love
the
that.
location of
That's
it,
my
and then it's a
ideal
weird
house.
looking house. And if you're not really into just having that house and the location, that seems about right. Doesn't seem like it should
I
be
know
much more
nothing
than-
about that city, Veneta, Oklahoma, but
No?
you didn't say Tulsa.
It's on the way to Joplin, Missouri.
Yet is still Oklahoma. No offense to Oklahomans.
I mean,
They don't take offense to it. They know where they live.
Joplin and Tulsa are your 2 closest big cities. So, yeah.
I'm not gonna say.
Hey, Len Peralta, thanks
Yeah.
for illustrating today's show.
Yeah. So I'm like many of you excited for the Neo. I was pretty jazzed about that video, by the way. Excellent work by their advertising team. But you know, Rob and Tom said it earlier. They kind of took my joke. Doing Neo. I almost said hello,
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, I almost said hello, Mr. Anderson, but then I was like, yeah, maybe that's a little bit of stretch. But yeah, I'm excited for the Neo. Maybe there might be one in my life soon. Who knows? But if you're interested and you love the Neo and you love Neo from the Matrix, you can get this at my online store, lenperaltastore.com. Or if you're a Patreon, if you're at Patreon, patreon.com/Len, where you can back me at the DTNS lover level, and you get it immediately. It should be there right now. So there you go.
Excellent. Thank you, Len.
Thank you.
Nica Montford, always a pleasure to have you with us. You always bring the good knowledge. Let folks know where they can keep up with the rest of your work.
You can find me at Tech Savvy Diva pretty much everywhere. You can also check out SnobOS, which is our Apple themed podcast, and pretty much most of the show that comes out on Friday, we're going to go through and break down all the products. We're also going to talk a little Anthropic as well. So you can definitely check that out on any of your podcast sites. You can check it out on YouTube, and you can get all those details at snoboscast.com.
Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show in all the various ways you can do it, including on Twitch. For example, SW Texas gave us 200 bits. PC Milesy did too. G. James B had a 20-stream streak. GPEG84 back for the 64th month at Tier 1. Thank you, GPEG. Ronald I51 gave us a follow. Norm Fazekas gave us 67 months. Zoe Brings Bacon, 54 months at Tier 1. And that's the 82nd month overall. Pack NW Fallstar, 27th month at Tier 1. So appreciate all of you. Stealth Dave back for the 31st month. PC Milesy with 50 bits. Paley Glendale with 100 bits. Cpots 50 for the 69th month. Fakey Nosegrob for the 60th month. The list keeps going on. Willie Scott back for the 73rd month of giving free Bezos bucks to the best crew in tech news. C-Spawn with 100 bits. And thanks to everybody on YouTube. You can give us super chats and you can give hype points on the YouTube. If you hit that hype button, that helps lift us in the algorithm. Costs you nothing. Do that at youtube.com/Daily Tech News Show. And of course, patrons supporting us at patreon.com/DTNS. We sincerely thank you as well.
For more news, don't miss Daily Tech News Show at dailytechnewsshow.com. Tomorrow on the Friday Hangout, it's going to be a fun one. Tom is talking with Ron Richards about using Gemini to help win fantasy sports. Hope to see you there.
This week's episode of Daily TNS Live was created by the following people. Host Robb Dunewood, host Tom Merritt, host Sarah Lane, producer Roger Chang, video producer Joe Kuntz, producer at large Anthony Lemos, social media producer and moderator Zoe Detterding, our mods, Beatmaster, W. Scottus1, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Godorama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, and J.D. Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music provided by Martin Bell and Dan Looters. Art by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias. Patreon support from Bobby Wagner. Our guest this week was Nica Montford. And thanks to all our patrons who make the show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
All right, we'll see you at patreon.com/DTNS. It's free. Go check it out.
Yeah.